Hi there, this is Pete Howard, Director of Concert Posters for Heritage Auctions. And what we have today, Jimi Hendrix in his hometown of Seattle, Washington in 1970. This one from the David Swartz Concert Poster Collection. Just a fun, cool, day-glow Jimi Hendrix concert poster from Six Stadium in Seattle on Sunday, July 26th. Of 1970. Look at that double image of Jimi just ripping it up on stage with his guitar. So, it's so much better than the standard studio headshot of Jimi and the Experience. I just love that graphic. It so reaches out and grabs you, and it's so, of course, emblematic of what Jimi was so famous for with the guitar playing. And remember, this was 55 years ago. Oh my goodness, is that possible? But I got a little bit of personal skin in this game. I saw Jimi Hendrix in concert the month previous to this, in June of 1970 down the coast in California. So it is close to my heart, yeah. So very scarce poster, very, very tough to find. This is the first one Heritage has ever had in its history. It's just, they just aren't out there, period. Boy, so that's such a nice, important factor of rarity for a concert poster like this. Just a lovely yellow and black window card from the Washington Poster Company, and they are known for making extra thick boards because of the inclement weather up there. Even in the spring and summer, there could be showers which would just wipe out and wash out a concert poster, so they were made extra thick and durable, but that also means they didn't make a lot of them either. So it's the number made, that keeps this very, very limited. I don't know what that number was, 50 or 100 or whatever, but as I said, they just do not come up. So if you know your musical history, you know that Jimi was from Seattle originally. I don't know if he was actually born within city limits, but he's from there. But the Experience was formed overseas. Sure, London, England is where the Experience were put together with a big hand lent by Chas Chandler from The Animals, House of the Rising Sun, right? So yeah, so Chas, if you know your Hendrix history, you certainly know all of this. But point being, even though the Experience formed in London, Jimi was from Seattle, so yes, this was a homecoming of sorts. Most of the family and friends who came knew him before he was famous, naturally. And there's even a touching and rare photograph taken backstage out there of Jimi with his dad, Al, and his sister, Janie, taken backstage this very day at the show. So that really adds, a nice personal touch to this for sure. It was also the last show Jimi ever performed in the mainland United States of America. And then sadly, less than 2 months later, he was gone. So that is really, that's always a sad note. Also on the bill, you might notice there's Cactus. They were comprised of 2 members from Vanilla Fudge. And then you've got the Cat Mother and the All Night Newsboys, whose album Jimi had produced and had a nice hit in 1969, the year before, with Good Old Rock and Roll, which had really nice medley of all kinds of old 50s rock and roll hits. So, yes, I have saved the best for last. The tremendous feather in the cap, the cachet, the amazing part is that not another copy of this poster, because where would you find one? This poster itself hung in the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art, one of the most prestigious museums in the world. And this was in 2019, 6 years ago. MoMA had an exhibit called Play It Loud, Instruments of Rock and Roll. And the David Swartz collection was the only collection and contributor to the, I believe it was 40 concert posters that David loaned and hit the walls at MoMA and were there with all these drum kits and guitars and everything else. And this exact poster was definitely one of them. And in the listing, if you go online, we do have a picture of the wall which shows most of this poster and other posters. So it's in the context of other posters. And the hole punch up there at the top center of the poster, you can clearly see it in the picture as well. This is the actual poster that hung in MoMA, so that's really wild. And At the grand opening for the MoMA exhibit, one of the people wandering around was no less than Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin. So, you know, it's the Big Apple, it's New York, things that are big that happen there, and it was a big, well, it was a great feather in the cap for the David Swartz concert poster collection, but also it was just a major shindig and a really special deal. So here's a chance to get a piece from that exhibit, but mostly to get a Jimi Hendrix concert poster it's got all the bells and whistles that I mentioned about being, you know, hometown Jimmy and his last show in the 48 states and his relatives and immediate family backstage and everything. It's a Dayglow poster. Really pops under a black light, and it's a very special one. Very happy, so happy. David Swartz kicked it in at the last minute. We had to have a special drop-off just for this one poster, FedExing things around and everything, and I'm so glad he did because it's such a key piece in this auction. The David Swartz concert poster collection. So it falls on Friday, November 7th, okay? And it starts at 12 noon Central Time, meaning 1 p.m. in the Big Apple and the East Coast, and 10 a.m. in California, in Seattle, I should say, and the entire West Coast. So, but in Dallas time, 12 noon, that's where I'm sitting right now, Heritage Headquarters. And to read more about the poster and to hear all about the auction, just go to ha.com/7421.